Hello, hello. Just waiting for my people to show up for this beautiful live we have happening tonight. Let's see. It looks a bit messy. Adriana, Andre, hello, guys. How are you this evening? Hope you are well. Tonight, I'm excited because Debbie, hi! I'm excited because we're talking about how to tell a story in English, and that is so important. I mean, if you think about it for a minute, how are you ever going to have a life in English if you can't tell a story, if you can't meet up with your friend, or if you can't go to work and talk to your work colleagues about something that happened to you, something that happened with you, something that happened in your life? Stories are a part of our lives. There is no two ways about it. Some people are more talkative, which means, hi guys, which means they like to talk a little bit more. When you are talkative, it means that you like to talk. Some people are more talkative, so they talk a little bit more. They want to tell more stories than others. But I think everybody tells stories, even people that are generally men. I think this is more of a male characteristic. Please tell me, you guys, boys watching us now, if you agree, please say that you agree with me. I think with men, it tends to be different. Generally speaking, men tell stories in a different way. They are more straight to the point. I've got so many 100 Day students here. Guys, hello. Good to see you. Hi, Paula, Jimena, Debbie. There might be somebody else that I didn't see. Thanks for coming. But still, even boys who don't talk to people the same way we girls do, I think everybody tells stories. So with that in mind, we're going to be talking about this in a way that I hope is going to help you feel a little bit more confident to tell your stories, okay? What we're going to do is, I'm going to tell you a story, obviously. And hopefully, you are going to see what I mean when I say that telling a story is so important, okay? So what I'm going to tell you tonight is a real story, of course. Some of you might know this, maybe. If you do know this, please type up here saying, I know the story, but I don't think everybody knows this story, okay? So I'm going to tell you this story, something that happened about 2 years ago. And as I am telling you, I am going to teach you some important links you can make when you're telling a story. And I am going to show you what I'm doing. So, for example, I'm going to show you why I am using the past tense, why I'm speaking in the present. You will probably be a little bit surprised to see me telling a story sometimes using the present tense. You're going to be like, what? Why are you speaking in the present if that's a story about the past? Well, yes, we're going to talk about that, and I think that's super exciting. So let's get cracking. You've heard me say that before, haven't you? Let's get cracking. Let's get started. You won't believe this. Now, if you are the kind of person who tells a story like me, if you are the kind of person who tells a story in a more kind of cheerful, I don't know if that's the right word, cheerful way, if you are excited to tell stories, and when it's something big that you consider something like unbelievable or exciting or crazy, you might want to give a little introduction. So if you are like this, you might want to say something like, you won't believe this. You won't believe this. I just hit the mic. I'm going to type up, okay, for you to see. Dilsa, hello. Good to see you guys. Really, you guys are awesome. I am glad you've come because we haven't really been together for almost a week now. So I'm glad you're here. Hi. You won't believe this. Look at this sentence, guys. You want to tell a story that is something like, my God, you say, you won't believe this. So you won't believe this. About 2 years ago. So I'm telling you when it was. I miss you too. I really, really do miss you guys, for real. Thank you for being here tonight. Hi, Kellen. So it's always good. Remember, it's not your first language, okay? So because you're telling a story in a language that is not your language, it's always a good idea to give details. So when this happened, where you were, who was with you. So when you give simple details, you give the person listening to you a better chance of understanding your story. Because of course, if it's not your first language, chances are that you might say one or two things that are a bit off, that are not perfect. So you want the person to understand your story. So then you give some details that will help them, okay? So when you say this, you won't believe this. About 2 years ago, my brother, who lives in London, he doesn't anymore, he used to live in London, now he lives in Spain, he came to visit us in Brazil. Now listen to this, I'm telling you this in the past, right? I'm saying my brother, who used to live in London, well, now he lives in Spain, because this is normal with storytelling. Sometimes you begin, pay attention to this, it's so important. You begin saying something, and then you realize that fact actually changed from that time, because I'm telling you a story from about 2 years ago. So when this happened 2 years ago, my brother did, in fact, live in London. He did. But now he doesn't. He doesn't live in London anymore. So in this case, you begin to speak, and this is absolutely normal because you are not a robot. So sometimes you'll be speaking and you're going to have to change your mind and you're going to have to correct what you said. And it's not even just about English. You know, sometimes it's really just about the story and about being a person. If you watch interviews, that I always tell you to do I not tell you to watch interviews? I do. If you watch interviews, you're going to see how normal it is for a person to be speaking and suddenly to just change what they were about to say. So they were about to say something and then they go, oh no, scratch that. Let's just go somewhere else with this conversation. It's normal. So 2 years ago, my brother, who lives in London, well, he used to live in London, he used to live in London, now he lives in Spain, came to visit us in Brazil. He came to visit us in Brazil because that's where I live, okay? So he came to Brazil. And we spent some time here. I think he was here with his wife, my sister-in-law, for about a week, not very long. And when he was here, Pedro, his name is Pedro, when he was here, I asked him if he wanted to make a video with me for YouTube. And I think some of you guys might have watched this video. Have you seen this video with Pedro, with my brother? Have you guys, please say yes or no. Have you watched a video that I have available on my channel of me speaking with my brother? Have you seen that? Say yes or no, please. Let me see what I've got. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Good. Okay. It's a great, very nice video. It's one of my favorite videos, actually. Because it was just funny and so nice to record with him. Anyway, so he was here and I asked him whether he wanted to make a video with me and he said yes. So can you see how I gave you a very clear introduction? I told you exactly when this was about 2 years ago, where this was, it was here in my house in Brazil. I told you who this story is about me and my brother. You see, all these things are important. You're telling a story. I need to know details. You need to know details to understand my story. So, If you haven't seen this video, do, okay? It's very easy to find on my channel. Just have a look on the playlist, Talking to People. I think that's the name of the playlist, and it's there. You're going to see it. And, well, we made this video together. And then he went back to Sao Paulo, because I'm originally from Sao Paulo, and I live in Porto Alegre. Can you see how I don't presume that you know I am from Sao Paulo? I am telling you I am from Sao Paulo, although I live in Porto Alegre, because I need you to understand where I'm going with my story. Otherwise, you're not going to understand. And then, oh my God, something so important. And then you're going to think the person doesn't understand your story because your English is shit. But it's not the case. Sometimes people don't understand your stories because you're not explaining your stories. It's not about your English. It's about the fact that you're not actually telling a story. You're just telling random facts, and you expect the person to link them together. Think about it. So, he went back to Sao Paulo for a few days. Okay, so his holiday was bound to continue for a little bit longer. And this is when things go crazy. So what I'm doing now is I'm telling you that what I'm about to say now is the main thing about my story. Okay, so I'm saying now, this is when things went crazy. You won't believe what happened. Okay, now I'm going to change what I'm doing, and I want you to see if you can notice a difference from the beginning of my story. Pedro came to visit me. He stayed here for a week. He went back to Sao Paulo. Can you see this? It's all in the past, isn't it? Now listen. You won't believe what happened. Pedro is in Sao Paulo with his wife. He's in a bar. Can you see this? He is in Sao Paulo. He is in a bar or at a bar. And then you're going to say to me probably, why he is, if this is 2 years ago and he's not there now? Why are you doing this? Why are you speaking like that? That's what we do in English, okay? Why? Because now this is the most important part of my story. This is the part of the story that I want you to really, really pay attention to. This is the big thing, okay? So when that is the case, you tell a story in the present. And it sounds crazy, but now that you know this, you will probably notice this happening a lot when you watch movies, when you see stuff. It happens all the time, okay? You will notice that the person is speaking in the past, and then suddenly they switch to the present. And sometimes they tell a whole story in the present as well. Pay attention, okay? And you're going to see what I mean. So, Pedro is in Sao Paulo, and he's in a bar just enjoying a drink with Clara, my sister-in-law. They're sitting there together in Sao Paulo enjoying a drink when suddenly, this word, suddenly, I think you probably heard this word before. You might know this word. You might be totally comfortable knowing this word and using this word, but pay attention to how much this is used when you tell a story. Because normally when you tell a story, there is a moment, right? There is a moment that something happens. This is a story, isn't it? When you think about books, when you think about your childhood stories that you used to listen to when you were little, when you think about movies, there is always something that is so important. This is the big moment, okay? So listen, he's enjoying his drink when suddenly the waiter comes up to him. The waiter is the person who works in a restaurant or a bar, okay, serving food and sometimes drinks. The waiter comes up to him. This is still in the present, isn't it? The waiter comes up to him and says, Are you Pedro? And then Pedro answers, yeah. He's very suspicious at this point. Now, I'm still telling you in the present, can you see? He's very suspicious. When you're suspicious, you're like, why are you asking me my name? I mean, why are you checking if I am Pedro? How do you know I'm Pedro? That's weird. What's going on? He's like, yeah. So he can't believe this is happening, right? You see what I'm doing? He can't believe this is happening. He's just like, what? And the waiter goes, that girl wants to talk to you. And he points, the waiter then points at this girl sitting on the other side of the bar with a friend. And Clara, my sister-in-law, is like, what's going on here, guys? Is this Brazilian flirting with my man when I'm just sitting here? Because Clara is Spanish. So she's like, I'm sorry, am I missing something? So I'm describing how Clara is reacting. So I'm saying she's like, what? You see what I'm doing? She's like, what? I'm lost. What is this, Brazilian people? What's happening? So Pedro then walks, he says to Clara, I don't know them. So he walks up to the girl. Pedro is very friendly, okay? See, I'm not presuming that you know Pedro. I am telling you something about Pedro so that you understand why this story is happening in this way. Because you don't know him. So I have to tell you, look, he's very friendly. He's a very nice guy. You see, this is all helping you to understand my story, isn't it? Okay, so Pedro then goes to speak to the girl, and the girl, wait for it, this is something else that you do when you are the person who likes to tell a story in a very kind of suspense kind of way, which is what I like to do. So you go, wait for it, like you have no idea what comes next. Wait for it. She's holding her phone. I'm still telling you in the present, pay attention. She's holding her phone, and the video I recorded with Pedro is playing on her phone. And she goes, is that you? And Pedro is like, what? Are you serious? So basically, guys, listen to this. I just told you what happened, but I am now going to explain to you exactly what the big deal was, exactly why I think this story is amazing. When this happened 2 years ago, I had about I think 8,000 subscribers on YouTube and about 1,000 subscribers on Instagram. So my work is still not very well known. So not a lot of people know my work. But at that time, it was even fewer people that knew my work. So the chances of somebody who knew my work being in that bar where Pedro was, and Pedro had just made a video with me a week earlier. The video had been recorded a week before, really. And so next thing I know, now listen to this. This is a great link, okay? Next thing I know, Pedro is on the phone to me. What does that mean? Next thing I know is she showed Pedro the video, and straight after that, next thing I know, Pedro is on the phone to me. He called me up, okay? He's on the phone to me, and he's like, you won't believe what happened. I've just been spotted because of your video. When you are spotted, you are a famous person somewhere, and someone goes, Are you Lady Gaga? Oh my God. Well, yeah, that happened to Pedro. Exactly. Pedro's like, you won't believe this. I've just been spotted because of your video in a bar in Sao Paulo. Her name is Danny. Speak to her. And he passes on the phone to Danny. Danny, are you watching this? She might be watching this. I don't know if she is. He passes on the phone to Danny. I'm still telling you in the present. Danny picks up the phone. She's like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan of your work. I'm like, are you for real? Is this, what? Is this actually happening? So basically, bottom line, the end of the story, like the thing you have to focus on. Pedro was spotted because of my work, and I have never been spotted. What are the odds? I just think it's unfair, to be honest. That's what I said to him. I was like, that's not even fair. I have been working to get spotted, and then you get spotted, man. What is this? And he loved it. He took a photo with Danny and sent it to me, obviously. And then Danny and I have been speaking since then. You know, like, I know who she is. It's like we know each other now, which is amazing. Truth of the matter is, you might not know this. When you say truth of the matter is, this is saying that the truth that you don't know, okay, the truth that maybe some people don't know, truth of the matter is, I was upset about this, man. Because I was like, I can't believe you were spotted. After one video, I've got 300 videos. And every time we talk about this, we have a laugh. We laugh about it. We have a laugh is a very nice expression to use. Every time we talk about this, we have a laugh, and it is a very funny thing that happened. So can you see how, when you tell a story, there are so many little things you can do to make the person understand, to make your story interesting? Because really, I could just come here and say, oh my God, I made a video with my brother, and then my brother was spotted after that video in Sao Paulo, and I've never been spotted. Done. There's no emotion there. Boring. Not gonna do that, am I? No way. So if you want to tell a story in a very exciting way, you use those things that I mentioned. You switch from the past to the present, or you're just telling the present if you can. You're telling the present when you are explaining, like, did you notice that I switched to the present when I started talking about the bar itself, Pedro being in the bar? Exactly. And then you say things like, you won't believe this. And then you say things like, wait for it. And then you say things like, suddenly. And you say, well, truth of the matter is. And you also say, to cut a long story short, which I never really say because I like the details. But if you don't like the details and you just want to tell the story as quickly as possible, then you say, well, to cut a long story short, Pedro got spotted because of that video. That's it. To cut a long story short. And that's it. Let me just see what you guys have been saying. Life is unfair. Tell me about it. Totally unfair. Are you jealous of your brother? No. Yeah, of course. Don't tell anyone. What else? It's like, I love this story. I just love it. It's a great story, isn't it? No inglês fala-se do passado com palavras do presente porque é mais fácil? No, not because it's easier. It's not easier. It's because it brings emphasis. It makes the story like more exciting. It makes it like more real, you know? Você sai muito de casa para ver sua fama? Ai, gente, vocês são demais. Que fama, gente. No, I live in Porto Alegre. That's, the chances of somebody spotting me here are quite small. But I confess that every time I go to São Paulo, I normally go once a year, especially when I'm at the airport. I think, is someone going to spot me here? This actually crosses my mind, because I do know that I have a lot of followers in São Paulo. And also, Pedro got spotted, so, it can happen. I can't wait for this day. I'm honest about it. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm probably going to cry. I hope you love it, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm very excited this week because next Monday, if you would like, you will be able to join 100 Days, my course. So it's going to be open for new students next Monday, the 6th of July. Yay! And also, I want to let you all know, okay, which is important, if you would like to hear me talking about 100 days with lots of detail, which will be nice, so in November, to be spotted in London, absolutely. Oh my God. So 100 Days is going to be open next Monday for new students, and I am going to be doing a live. Possibly, I will confirm on Instagram so you guys know, but possibly on Sunday in Portuguese, because I'm not going to be teaching, just talking about 100 days. And I think it's going to be exciting for you guys to hear me speak about it in Portuguese, giving you details, answering questions that you might have. This is probably going to happen on Sunday, on the 5th of July, next Sunday, because then on Monday, you guys will be able to join the course if you like. Okay. Yes, that's it. And I think, I don't know yet, but I will let you guys know on Instagram. But I think this live is going to happen on Instagram on Sunday. Okay. Are you coming to London? Yeah, in November. I'm so excited. We're going in November, which will be lovely. My darlings, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you to all of you people that want to learn English and want to spend your time with me learning. I can't wait to meet you guys in London. I'm excited because I am going to be meeting my 100 Days students in London when I go, which is going to be amazing. Thank you all. And I'll see you probably on Sunday, where I'll be talking about 100 Days if you would like to know more about it. And Tanya is just saying, you don't know a lot of grammar, but you understand all my story. How is that possible? Yeah, that's my secret. I can't tell you how that's possible. But yeah, thank you all so much. And I'll see you soon. And if you join 100 Days next week, please send me a message telling me I am that person from your live, because I normally recognize people and I love to know that people are excited about the course. Okay. See you later. Have a great week. Bye.